In 1906, a tragic chapter in history unfolded in New York City, a chapter that should never be forgotten. This is Ota Benga, a young boy from the Congo, who was brought to America under the pretense of being part of an exhibit. At the Bronx Zoo, Ota was put on display in the monkey house, treated not as a human being, but as an attraction for visitors. But not everyone stood by. Brave souls protested this inhumane treatment, demanding Ota's release from the zoo. Though he was freed after a long 20 days of pure torture, add to the European trauma and the pain of his experiences, and the loss of his family weighed heavily on his heart. He was placed in the care of Howard Colored Orphan Asylum. The young Congolese man who was infamously exhibited at the Bronx Zoo tragically took his own life on March 20, 1916. He committed suicide by shooting himself in the heart with a pistol on March 20, 1916, after obtaining the gun from the local community. At the time of his death, Ota Benga was living in Lynchburg, Virginia, where he had struggled with depression and feelings of isolation after his traumatic experiences in the United States. The culmination of his despair led him to end his life. His story remains a poignant example of the deep psychological scars left by the racism and exploitation he endured. A life stolen by cruelty and racism. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe-o. Who's responsible? Ota Benga's tragic exploitation in the Bronx Zoo was the result of actions taken by several individuals and institutions. Here are the key figures and entities responsible. Samuel Phillips Verner. Verner was an American businessman and former missionary who was primarily responsible for bringing Ota Benga to the United States. Verner purchased Ota Benga from a slave market in the Congo in 1904, ostensibly to exhibit him at the St. Louis World's Fair. After the fair, Verner was instrumental in arranging for Benga's exhibition at the Bronx Zoo. William Temple Hornaday, as the director of the Bronx Zoo, then called the New York Zoological Park, Hornaday was directly responsible for placing Ota Benga in the zoo's monkey house. He treated Benga as an attraction, displaying him alongside primates and marketing the exhibit to the public. Hornaday ignored the ethical implications and the protests from African American communities, focusing instead on the sensationalism and the zoo's popularity. The New York Zoological Society, now the Wildlife Conservation Society, the organization that operated the Bronx Zoo, sanctioned the exhibit, allowing the exploitation of Ota Benga for profit. The society was complicit in the dehumanization and racial exploitation inherent in the display. The public and media, the public's curiosity, and the media's sensational coverage contributed to the continuation of the exhibit. Large crowds came to the zoo specifically to see Ota Benga, and newspapers of the time played a role in publicizing the exhibit, treating it as a spectacle rather than condemning it as inhumane. Revenue collection. The revenue generated from the exhibit likely went to the New York Zoological Society, which used Benga as a means to draw visitors and boost attendance at the zoo. The exact financial details are not well documented, but the society, and by extension, its members and leadership, would have benefited financially from the public's interest in the exhibit. These individuals and institutions collectively bear responsibility for the inhumane treatment of Ota Benga. The exhibit was a stark example of the racism and colonialist attitudes prevalent at the time, where a human being was displayed as a curiosity and treated as less than human.
They brought him from the Congo, oh so far away, chained and displayed like a beast in a cage. In the Bronx Zoo, they took his dignity. World hatred was shown in the 20th century. He was a man, not an animal, but they couldn't see the truth at all. Oh, Ota Benga, your soul was strong, but the world, it did you so wrong. Crowds came to mock, to laugh at his pain, but inside he carried the weight of 1,000 chains. They called it a show, but it was a crime to strip a man of his worth, one heartbeat at a time. He was a man, not an animal, but they couldn't see the truth at all. Oh, Ota Benga, your soul was strong, but the world, it did you so wrong. And though he tried to find a way to be free, the memory memories of home wouldn't let him be. In a world so cold, where love is denied, Ota Benga's light faded, but his story survived. He was a man, not an animal, but they couldn't see the truth at all. Oh, Ota Benga, your soul was strong, but the world that did you so wrong. Hey, Ota Benga, your pain will remember, your caged soul's cry will echo forever. In the fight for justice, we'll carry your flame, and in your